What up, peeps? It's your boy Glass.
And I'm Brandon.
Best tag team tandem out there on Sports Talk on YouTube. About to give you our picks of the wild card weekend. About to go into the wild card weekend. I'm going to explain it to you right now. Me and Brandon, we in the contest on electric football. They got the electric football playoff challenge. We give the spreads too. So we're going to give you our picks of who we think going to win out of the 4 games this weekend, the wild card weekend. And we'll tell you what we think about the spread. So let me tell you the spread real quick. What we're going to be working with is the Houston by
Texans
minus 4.5, Green Bay by minus 7.5, Baltimore by minus by minus 6.5, Washington plus 3. So once again, Houston by negative 4.5, Green Bay by negative 7.5, Baltimore by negative 6.5, and plus 3 on the Washington. So let's get it going. First game we're going to talk about is the Cincinnati Bengals going to Houston to play the Texans. Flip-flop on this one. Both to a certain extreme. You got the Houston Texans who had the #1 seed 3 weeks ago. Hot. 3 weeks ago. Hot. Lost 3 out of the last 4 games. So you jump from the #1 seed to the 3rd seed. You lost home field advantage. You lost a bye. You're supposed to be in the bye week this week. And you played in the wild card. So then you got the Bengals who won the last 7. Won 7 of the last 8 games. They hot right now. They rolling. They beat Baltimore, Pittsburgh, all the big teams, but the solid teams that you think they have problems with them. Well, I think they went to Pittsburgh and won that game. I think they went to Baltimore and won the game, if I'm not mistaken. So they hot right now, but let's think about this right now. You got Andy Dalton, don't get me wrong, he hot. AJ Green, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. Front 4, that line is a monster. But you're going into Houston, don't get me wrong. Houston's playing bad. I know they stumbled into the postseason, but there's somewhere you're gonna get it back on track. And we ain't gonna say J.J. Watt. He gonna do what he gonna do. You know, he got 16, I think, tip passes. He got 20 and a half sacks for the season. So that's the defense gonna be there. All that being said, they're playing in Houston. I know Houston been playing like crap. I think they can get it back on track. Cincinnati gonna keep the game close. I got that. But all in all, I think Houston will win the game. What say you?
Cincinnati got everything going for them right now, just like the Giants did last year. Right into the playoffs hot. Houston, on paper, great team. They still got all the components, all the pieces. They got the quarterback. They got the wide receivers. I think Johnson led the AFC in yards. But you know what? He don't score touchdowns. He only had 4 touchdowns.
That's okay.
Foster, I think he was like 2nd in the AFC. He had over 1,400 yards. He scored touchdowns. Like 15 led the league in touchdowns on the ground. 15 touchdowns. So they can move the ball. They can score with anybody. I think against anybody. Defensively, like you said, Watson everywhere doing everything. That being said, on that side of the ball, okay, now you got Cincinnati, quarterback playing good. They got the receiver, they got the running back, and just like the Giants did last year, they got the vicious front 4. Cincinnati, they can put pressure on the quarterback, but Houston, that was their problem, I think, too, with Sharp. He got sacked like 12 or 15 times in the last 3 or 4 games, you know, after being sacked maybe 11 times in the first 12 games.
Right.
So I don't know what happened to the offensive line. Throwing out all these numbers and all these scenarios, I think Houston still, they're going to get their act together and they're going to do just enough to beat Cincinnati. I think it'll be close, but I think they win the game.
Okay. And spread was a -4.5. We both agree that Houston will cover that 4.5.
No, definitely.
Next game we're going to talk about the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings, going to Green Bay to play the Packers. Vikings, you know, they was on an emotional high. They were trying to make it in the playoffs last week. They trying to get Adrian Peterson to break the record, so they had something to play for. Green Bay didn't have nothing to play for. They knew where they were. They locked in where it was at.
I mean, first round battle, that's a lot.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But they're playing at home. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like there was an urgency for them to win. They tried to come back and made it interesting, but they lost. This is what I'm getting to. Vikings was on that emotional high. You're gonna have to drop one time. They're gonna drop this weekend. They're going up to the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field. Green Bay gonna have their little plans together. Mike McCarthy, great head coach. He's gonna have a game plan ready for him. Minnesota, right now, all they got is Adrian Peterson. I know that's all they had last week, but it's a difference. That was at home. Now they're going up to Green Bay. Christian Ponder, he played a good game. Is he consistent? He's not consistent, so that's going to be a problem. It's going to be cold as hell up there. There's no dome. Now, I know I've heard Greg Jennings say he don't like playing out in the cold either, but he used to playing out in the cold. That being said, there's too many weapons. Of course, I'm going to pick Green Bay Packers over the Minnesota Vikings. What say you?
First of all, I don't want to pick Green Bay.
I don't. Okay, did I say I want to pick Green Bay?
No, you say that it sound that way.
I'm sorry.
It sound that way.
I can't stand it. You know what?
It sound that way.
I can't stand the Packers, and I can't stand Minnesota either. They both in the Chicago Bears conference. But I mean, come on. It is what it is. There you go.
Okay. Right.
Don't make it sound like I'm a cheesehead. I ain't a cheesehead though.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Green Bay, Minnesota. Minnesota ran all up and down their ass all year long. Even though back early in December, Peterson ran for 210 yards. Green Bay still won that game. This time, Peterson ran for almost 200 yards. And Minnesota squeaked this game out. I think only because they was in Minnesota.
Right.
Like you said, Green Bay didn't really have a lot to play for. Minnesota had everything to play for. Peterson, he run around Green Bay like he owned them. But you know what? Green Bay, they getting Woodson back. Only thing is though, playing up there in Green Bay, I don't know a lot of people know, so I'm sure the Green Bay Packers fans know whatever. Sports enthusiasts. The Packers have lost 4 out of their last 6.
I agree. Okay.
Up there, so they can be beat up there.
New York went up there last.
Put them things on them. But yeah, I'm taking Green Bay to put them things on Minnesota this week. Should have got the bye though.
And with that being said, we both agree that Green Bay will cover the 7.5 spread.
Oh, no doubt.
Easy. Next game up is the Colts going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Of course, Colts is on emotional high because of Coach Pagano and the leukemia situation. They've been playing outside of themselves. Of course, Andrew Luck got the rookie doing his thing. Reggie Wayne, his #1 target. Defense, they all right. You know what I'm saying? You got Dwight Freeney. T.Y. Hilton, that's an X factor right there. Nobody really know about till last week when he dropped, 70-yard on him. Ravens, they've been, I ain't gonna say struggling. Joe Flacco, dude, you made me look bad. I thought you was gonna be a top 5 QB this
Top
year.
5. Y'all go back and see that top.
Like I said, you step up to like I thought you was gonna do this year. Ray Rice, a couple of them games you didn't use Ray Rice. You're supposed to force feed Ray Rice. I think they're gonna do it this game. Games in Baltimore. Ray Lewis gonna retire after this season, so they gonna play for Ray Lewis. Man, played 17 years on one team. Definitely first ballot Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that later. Torrey Smith doing this thing. They lost the last game. I believe they lost the last game because they rested all these starters for this game coming up. Baltimore will beat Indianapolis. I ain't gonna say easy, but they're gonna beat Indianapolis. So I got Baltimore over Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game too. Yeah. Coach Pagano, he coming back with them. He actually did his thing in Baltimore. He started all that stuff in Baltimore. Defensive coordinator for the Ravens, so he know their personnel or whatever. That's one advantage the Colts do have. You know, Killer retiring after this season. You know, that's.
Oh, you so disrespectful, man.
All right, Ray Lewis.
Ray, thank you.
Respect. Right. He garners respect. And this ain't he planned on leaving after 3 games. Not one after 3 games. Super Bowl or bust. I think my Patriots may have something to say about that. But I'm just jumping the gun a little bit. But they got Luck. He had a great year. Colts had a great year. You know, they got a lot to build on. They may not need as many pieces as everybody think they need.
I agree.
You know, but they won't win. They won't win this first playoff game. So, with all that being said, I'm taking Baltimore Ravens to beat the Colts this week.
Gotcha. We both picked Baltimore, but we both agree that the Colts will cover 6.5.
Yeah, very close game.
It's going to be a close game. Last game, but not the least. I believe this might be the game of the weekend. Game of the wild card weekend. You got the Seattle Seahawks. That's just straight trucking over teams. Going up to Washington to play the Washington Redskins, and they ain't no punk. 2 rookie quarterbacks playing the same. Russell Wilson doing his thing in Seattle. RG3 doing his thing up in Washington. Alfred Morris, Marshawn Lynch. Cancel each other out. Pierre Garçon, Sidney Rice. Cancel each other out. It's going to me, I think it's going to be up to the defense. The defense is going to be the factor. I know Seattle won't win that much away from home. But every now and then, they beat Chicago. They came to Chicago to beat Chicago. And they appreciate that too much, but they did what they had to do. So I think they got a little bit more life up in them to go away from home and bring back a win. So my pick is the Seattle Seahawks over the Washington Redskins. But this is going to be a hell of a game. What say you?
Yeah, they beat Chicago, but it wasn't because their corners was banging the wide receivers around though. Quarterback got loose at the end of that game. Overtime, remember it went to overtime. Okay? Whole lot of things went wrong in that game. All right, first and foremost. All right. I think Washington gonna win though. They got a lot going on over there. It's just better to me.
Anyway, but those are picks. I got Seahawks, he got the Redskins, but we both agree the Redskins will cover V3. It's going to be a real close game. So let's go over the spreads one more time. Just so everybody understands. We got Houston to cover the 4.5. We got Green Bay to cover the 7.5. Yeah, we do. We got the Colts to cover the 6.5. And we got the Redskins to cover the 3. This is your boy Glass.
And I'm Brandon.
The best tag team Tampa Sports Talk on YouTube. And as always, be good, be safe, get with it. Biggs.